Welcome everybody to Hypnotic Big Brother, the first head of household competition results. As these 16 house guests have astutely clocked before we even told them what the comp was. This is the Hypnotic Big Brother staple, not a Hypnotic Big Brother staple, the Hypnotic Big Brother staple, BB Choose Your Own Adventure Simulator, where essentially we're running a simulation of their own Big Brother experience. Maybe this is to in an amend for what the Big Brother Fortune has in store for them this season. I have a round. I'm going to give them a scenario. You have three choices to make, three decisions to make throughout the course of the week, and their goal is to try to make as far into the simulation as possible, accruing as many points as possible. And whoever has the most points will be crowned the first head of household. We're pretty short. We don't have most of the house guests, but we're still going to keep chugging along. And I will be going in backwards order, so 16th all the way up until we reveal first place. In 16th, with a score of eight and a worse tiebreaker, Cody, wherever you are not the head of household. In 15th place, also with 8 points, but getting a slightly better tiebreaker, Al, you are not the head of household. In 14th place, with a score of nine, Jonathan, you are not the head of household. In 13th place, with a score of 10, I promise these will get better, is Seb. Seb, you are not the head of household. Now we're comfortably in the double digits now. Let's get to the teens. 12th place with a score of 14.
Oh wow.
Chris, you are not the head of household. And Topher says, wow, because in 11th place with a score of 15 is Topher. Topher, you are not the head of household. In 10th place with a score of 16, Joel, you are not the head of household. And with a score of 17, with a worse tiebreaker, is John. Wherever you are, John, you are not the head of household. So we have our top half here. One of Esmeralda, Issa, Jennifer, Joanne, Julia, Caden, Timmy, or V will be the new head of household. But who will not be the head of household with a score of 17, but the better tiebreaker is V. V, unfortunately, you are not the head of household.
At least I'm single digits and halfway.
You ate. In seventh place, with a score of 19, Timmy, you are not the head of household. In sixth place, with 20, but wait a yes, there you go. With a worse tiebreaker, Caden, you are not the head of household. In fifth place, with a score of 20 and a better tiebreaker, is Jennifer. Jennifer, you are not the head of household. In fourth place, with a score of 26, Joanne, you are not the head of household. So our top three placers in this competition were Esmeralda, Issa, and Julia. Because fuck man. In third place, with a score of 29, Julia, you are not the head of household. And y'all, we're not in the 20s anymore. One of these individuals got 35, and one of these individuals got 44, setting a record for the BB Choose Your Own Adventure. Congratulations, Esmeralda. You are the first head of household of the season. Now, unfortunately, I wish they were here to hear for themselves that they won the competition, but they're not. But what you guys are all here, I guess now five, because Julia hates me too, is for the unveiling of the first twist of the season. Now, as some of you may argue, the first week is going to revolve all around the HOH, trying to ensure that you are safe, you are protected from the block, and because that is the only person that is guaranteed to make it to the next round. But I would argue that it actually revolves around the nominees instead, because you're talking about them all week. Should I keep this individual? Should I keep this person around as a shield for me? Do I want to work with this one? Do I want to work with the other one? And what I see in Hypnotic's past is time after time after time someone would get nominated over and over and over again until they got sent home. And I don't like that. That's boring. So we want to give some power to the surviving nom come eviction night. After an eviction, the surviving nominee will be given one of two choices. They can either choose to be safe for the upcoming round. Can't be nominated, can't be the renom, non-negotiable. Nothing that they have to do to qualify for that. They just say, hey, I want to be safe. They don't want to hit the block again. Totally understandable. Or they could choose not to be safe. Now, Jacob, why the fuck would someone not choose to be safe? Well, glad you asked that. Because then, by doing so, they will earn the white rights to play in a private competition for power. If you just want short-term safety, you just want to make sure you get by another week, try to rebuild some social capital, then take the safety. But if you think your situation is dire, you need an advantage to stay in the game, then opt for the private competition. If you opt for that second choice, we will not unveil the results of said competition. Only the person, the surviving nominee, will know whether or not they won, and they will know the logistics and the properties of said power. Could be really good, could be not really good for their situation. But with that being said, if last thing also logistically, if the player chooses safety, they will still be able to participate in the HOH and veto competition and cast a vote at the end of the week. You can do whatever the hell you want. But that being said, that concludes our ceremony, our result ceremony. We will be in contact with Esme as to when we will be having the nomination ceremony and the subsequent veto picks. The veto competition, just going to confirm, is semi-live and will also require no material. So if you get chosen, do not need to worry about gathering any of your stuff. Best of luck to everyone.